Welcome all to the session on corporate finance. So through this video, you will get exposure related to a concept called as separation of ownership and management. What are all the challenges when a family welcomes the next generation? So let us first have an example from the recent days with a company called as Reliance Industries Limited. Right from the beginning, we know that Reliance Industries Limited is being controlled by a family. That is the Dhirubhais. Okay, so it started with the famous person we know, right? Dhirubhai Ambani. So he had two kids, Mukesh Ambani and Anil Ambani. So Anil Ambani's case is something different. So that may be even discussed as a separate case study. So this Mukesh Ambani's case can be considered now for this family welcoming the next generation. So here the person has three legal heirs. So how the property is going to be splitted and given to these three people. So because Mukesh Ambani is now aging, so now it has to change hands possibly to the other people. So unlike other corporates, still this Ambani's group is considered as a business which means controlled completely by a family. There are many other companies, no exception, but still this is a very big company. That's the reason we are discussing here. So here the problem is when the new generation is going to take in, there is going to be multiple masters. As I said, there are three people now as a legal heir for Mukesh Ambani. So they are also inside the board as the directors. So now there will be a confusion among the people who are inside that top corporate inside that board. So which master they are going to serve. So this creates a confusion. And also this confusion threatens the continuity of the company. So who is going to take the Reliance Industries, which is a cash cow? Who is going to take Geo? That is the Geo Financial Services, which got organically separated from the company Reliance Industries. So who is going to take that company? Oh, who is going to head the other kind of brands like the retail ventures they have? So there is now a confusion threatening the continuity. So under whose hands the company is going to reach? So there is a very big challenge you can see when a company welcomes the next generation. Then, since the next generation is going to get in, there is a need for a professional management that is required. So there is a concept in legal aspects. So it is called as doctrine of indoor management. So outsider should consider that the company is best functioning as specified in the laws of the company by the way of article of association, because we cannot intrude into the company and check each and every day what is happening inside that company. So this is called as a doctrine of indoor management. And there is one more thing which is called as a corporate veil. A company's promoter is separated from the company. A promoter is different and the corporate board is different. But in a case of Ambani's group, how can we separate a family from the board? Because the board is the family and the family is the board. We cannot separate. So when it comes such a situation, and also when the company grows up, you know that non-family members are hired into the company. When non-family members are hired into the company, possibly they cannot think in the same way or a frequency like how that family thinks about that business. So even Tata had a very big problem when they had a non-family staff hired for an activity by the way of Cyrus Mistry. Possibly the thoughts of Cyrus Mistry did not align with the Tata Group's possible way of functioning. So even for a very big corporate like Tata Motors, a problem like this happened. Not only Tata Motors, the entire Tata Group, this problem has happened. They went for this law tribunal and finally the case got solved. So here when it comes to a startup, a company which started with 4 or 5 people, later when the company grows, the non-family members are going to be hired inside the company. They have come with their own ideas. So there is a need of professional management when the company grows, and there is a separation required. Okay, like ownership and also who is the person who is going to manage that company. So if you take a owner, the owner will also have an influence over the board. If in each and everyday activity, if a owner is going to influence, the management cannot function properly. So there is going to be a problem. So as a family, the family has its own value. Even if Tata is not headed by a Tata now, it's been headed by a non-Tata. But still you can see the board has people representing from Tata, because Tata has a name itself, they will add value. So the families generally add value to a company, even though board is separate and the, what do you say, possible ownership is separate, the family would still add a value. So there is a need for a professional management here. And then the ownership structure of the company should be formalized. So who has to report to whom? What is the power that is going to be distributed for a certain person? So there is a concept called as ultra vires when it comes to the power of the people inside that board. So what they can do, what they cannot do. So the entire ownership structure has to be formalized. So if you take CEO of a company, right? So CEO is going to control what kind of activities. So CEO generally controls the people like CMO, CTO, possibly CFO and these people. And under this CFO, who are the people who are going to operate? So the entire thing has to be formalized when it comes to management. And when it comes to the ownership also, there should be a formalized structure, right? From the family side. So who is going to be the major player? So like that, the decision should be very, very clear. And finally, the professional management is required so that the company can continue with their profitability and they can also sustain. Here comes a very bad example when it comes to sustainability. A company like Rahman. Rahman has more family feuds, and because of that family feud, so now most of the shareholders even have possibly a threat when they go and invest into the company. What is going to be the sustainability of that company? So when it comes to the profitability and the sustainability, there is a need for a professional management. Then what are all the advantages and the disadvantages of the separation of ownership and management? As said, sustainability is something so important. Okay, a company is started to run for several generations. When it was started by the Tata Group's founder, possibly they had a thought in their mind that the company is going to survive for several decades or centuries. So it has survived over a century. So this is sustainability. Even though many people headed this Tata Groups, you can see that the company has been evolving. Now it is again evolving with the non-Tata as a chairman. So this is sustainability. A company cannot completely go and possibly, I would try to say in this way, management should be kept separate and ownership should be kept separate. Owners should not go and involve in each and every day of management. And management has to function separately. So, and also maximization of capital is something so important. Okay. The maximization of capital can be again done by the way of organic growth or by the way of inorganic growth. So the management should be provided with free hands. So how the company is going to expand itself and grow. And the owner should have a proper support to the management. One more company we can bring it to the point here, Larsen and Toubro, L&T. So this is a company possibly run by shareholders. The company purely depends on the management and the management capability because there is no big ownership stake inside that company by the promoters. So it is a company which is being run professionally. So there is a very big separation you can see here between the ownership and management. Then what are the disadvantages? There will be a very slow decision making because owners are different and the management is different. Management will take a decision, so possibly some of the owners may not agree. Owners will be having an idea, possibly the experts inside that management and the board of directors may not agree towards it. So there may be a possibility of the decision making may going slower. And another biggest thing is a company want to do something through the management, the owners don't agree it. So there comes a lack of flexibility here and also the lack of agility. So suddenly they cannot change to a product or services they are interested because they should go for a board approval, and the board possibly has directors from families. They have to approve it. So if the board of directors who are right from the family agree towards the future of that company for the best for that company, the company may grow. But if the people are too old and the people are not interested to take a possible step towards the company's future when they want to introduce a new product or maybe for new services or other related things, they lack that agility and possibly future may be questioned here. So this separation of ownership also has certain disadvantages. And then how we can have an strategy, a separation strategy when you want to implement this ownership and management separation. So you should first draw up agreement between the management and ownership. So what is going to be the power of management and what they should do and what they should not do. And similarly, the owner should also have an agreement what they can do and what they should not do and what they should not do or interfere in the day-to-day affairs of a company. So they should draw up an agreement and make the thing sure that they are doing right for that company and they are doing something good for the company. And they should have a very strong board. The company should not have the board completely influenced by a family. There is a need of more and more of experts who should be brought into the board for the benefit of the company. When the company grows, automatically the value of the company is going to grow. When the value of the company is going to grow, the shares prices are going to be higher. When the share prices are going to be higher, obviously even the owners are going to benefit. So the decisions taken by management is also going to have a better benefit for the shareholders. So to make sure this happens, the board should be so strong, and a company should have a very strong corporate governance structures and also policies. When it comes to corporate governance, again something that gets into the mind, like how a company like Godrej is operating or how a company like Tata is operating. These companies are known for their corporate governance. These companies are highly transparent when it comes to their operations. So that's the reason these names stands in our mind. So that corporate governance structure of a company is so important, and the policies which guide for the day-to-day operations in the corporate structure is also so important when it comes to the separation strategies. So this is all with this video. Welcome to much more informative sessions.